I'm Heath Lambert. You're listening to Marked by Grace, a podcast applying the grace of Jesus to all of life. Welcome to Marked by Grace. I'm Heath Lambert. So glad to be joining you this week on the podcast. I'm also really excited that my new book, The 10 Commandments, a short book for normal people, has finally come out. If you listen to or watch this podcast every week, you've been hearing me talk about it coming for many weeks now, and now I'm very, very excited that it has come. To me, it is a very, very important book. I think the decay and the collapse that you are seeing in our culture is a direct result of a revolt against God's word that is so clearly revealed in the 10 Commandments. And I wrote this book to help. I wrote this book to be short and accessible for normal people, hence the subtitle. I want you to be able to pick up this book and be able to understand what the 10 Commandments mean, be able to have a clue about how to apply them, and be able to think about how to faithfully engage this culture that is so much in need of God's truth. So I hope you'll pick up a copy of the book. You can get it at Amazon if you want, but also if you go to fbcjacks.com/10 commandments, that's fbcjacks with an x.com/TEN commandments, not 10 commandments. If you go to that website, you can find out information about the book, and you can download a free chapter, which I hope you will find helpful. In honor of the release of the book, I am privileging your questions about the 10 Commandments. And one of you wrote in and asked whether abortion counted as murder. Does abortion count as murder? I'm going to talk about that. If you've got a different question, a different topic, a different issue you'd like me to address, you can let me know what that is at markedbygrace@fbcjacks.com. That's markedbygrace at fbcjacks with an x.com. But this week, you're asking whether abortion counts as murder. And the answer is yes, it does. Abortion is murder. We get the idea of murder from Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. You shall not murder. That's the sixth commandment. It's a commandment against murder. And I'm saying that abortion is indeed murder. And I don't want to just say, yes, it is, and then thanks for joining us this week. I want to explain to you why. And we need to explain why, because we are living in a culture that is full of abortion. We need to explain why, because actually in my meeting right before this one, just on the other side of the wall, I was talking with someone who was sharing about someone who professes to be a Christian that said they're for abortion. They're in favor of abortion, and they're talking about abortion like it's a Christian thing. And that is not true. So we can't afford to just say, yes, abortion is murder, and then not explain why. We have to explain why. And so I want to give you 3 ingredients to that answer that yes, abortion counts as murder. The first ingredient has to do with the nature of murder. So what is murder? Murder is the intentional killing of innocent human life. Every word in that statement is important. Murder is the intentional killing of innocent human life. If you take away the word intentional, we're not talking about the same kind of thing anymore. If you talk about the killing of innocent human life, that can happen on accident. That can happen in ways for which you are not as fully responsible as you are when you set out to destroy. If you take away innocent from that statement, you have a very different situation. The intentional killing of human life is not necessarily murder, because we have biblical teaching on things like self-defense. We have biblical teaching on things like capital punishment. And so if you take away innocent, things get different. If you take away human, things get different. The intentional killing of innocent life. I mean, if you had bacon and eggs for breakfast, something had to die in order for you to eat that. And so each of those terms is important. Murder is the intentional killing of innocent human life. It's when I set out to destroy a human being who is not guilty of a crime. That is the nature of murder. That's the first ingredient. The second ingredient is the nature of babies. The nature of babies. Babies are human life. We know this biblically because the Psalms declare that David will say that in sin did my mother conceive me. So he's talking about the issue of conception and his existence at conception. But this is also true scientifically, regardless of what you've heard. When you have the male sex cell and the female sex cell combined together, they create a new organism, a new set of DNA that is an independent, fresh reality. So for scriptural reasons and scientific reasons, we would say that the nature of a baby, whatever the phase of development, from zygote to birth, whatever the phase of development, when you talk about a baby, you are talking about a human life. That's the second ingredient of the answer. The third ingredient of the answer is the nature of abortion. Abortion ends the life of a baby without guilt. Abortion is the intentional ending of a life that has no guilt. People have their reasons for doing it. Don't have enough money. Don't know what I'm doing. I don't want this baby. There's all sorts of reasons that people give, but the reality is when they end the life, they do it on purpose, and that baby is guilty of no sin, of no crime, of no thing that deserves death. And so you put those three things together, the nature of murder, the intentional killing of innocent human life, the nature of babies, they are human life. And the nature of abortion is to end that innocent life for no cause except selfishness. Is abortion murder? The answer is yes.